Hey folks, and welcome to video number 2, question number 2 from TAE PD week. And in these videos, this library of videos, I'm really centering around those questions that we didn't get to in the webinar, which related to difficult students. So if you haven't already, go and have a look at question number 1. But question number 2, I'll share that with you now. And this was pretty popular. Like I said, second most popular question that was put forward. And the question was supervision of multiple learners using equipment while in a class of students doing multiple tasks within the workshop. Now I'm reading from the screen here, and using a range of equipment to complete those tasks. Well, if you're training a bit of tech, if you're training whatever it is, maybe using computers or apps or whatever it might be, you're going to encounter this. And again, I've encountered this in my past, and I've got two real tangible things that I did. Some years ago, I used to deliver some training with a client on how to create effective PowerPoints. And this session was advertised to everybody. And you can admit, as soon as I say that, within the client's organization, which was a very, very large organization, and they basically put it out there and said, look, hey, we're doing some stuff on designing effective PowerPoints for your presentations to internal and external stakeholders. Come along if you want to get better at PowerPoint. And as you can imagine, an invite like that, well, there's probably the first tip. The invite like that wasn't really curated at particular audiences. But I'm going to use that example. While we could have curated those classes a little better, we didn't want to go and create a separate session for each one. That was going to be costly. So what we did, well, we ran the first session and I encountered this same problem. We had people, as you can imagine, all at different levels. But interestingly, they were at completely different level. There was right from novice PowerPoint users all the way to intermediate to advanced. And those intermediate and advanced people, they really wanted something in there that would suit them. So very quickly, I identified that when I'm in that room, and I found myself running around different places, trying to help this person. I got stuck with the novices. Then the intermediate and advanced would want to know this tip or trick for something really advanced, and I'd be, I was stretched. So I changed it, doing a couple of things. The first of those was we sent out a quiz to ask people where they thought they were at. And it wasn't just any old quiz. Where do you rate where you think you're at PowerPoint or something like that? It was, can you perform these specific functions? So we got some functions, for example, let's say putting an image into the background of a PowerPoint slide. We said, well, can you do that? Just as an example, amongst others. If you can do this, or if you can't do this, you're in the beginner level, and so on and so forth. And we were able to collate groups of people. And I was able to essentially identify, okay, Tony Curtin, he's coming through, he's at an intermediate level, but John Smith over here is going to be a novice. Now, what did I then go and do with that? Well, naturally, I can then say, okay, well, I can then divert my resources and anticipate where I'm going to go. But it still didn't solve my problem of engagement. So essentially, because I'm still one person like you. So what I decided to do was, within the learner workbook, was build some extension activities for intermediate and advanced users. Essentially, once you've finished this activity, go on to this. And they would be scaffolded so that they got progressively more complex. So intermediate users that found, putting an image into PowerPoint and changing the transparency and adding some gradient to it, pretty simple. I can do that. And I've done that in about 3 minutes. Then I move on to something that's more complex, and so on and so forth. Now, that would enable me a little bit of time to keep those intermediate and advanced users engaged. Okay, I'm doing something before they come to me and say, hey, Tony, what's next? So there was a bit of a design piece, and really a major design piece in the learner guide. Now, the other thing that I did was I got a support person in there from the organization that I was working with, who was reasonably competent in PowerPoint and could answer some of those novice questions. That's not always possible, though. I know that's a bit of a bonus, but certainly those first two things. Put a survey out, try to understand what your learners' needs are, a specific survey, like I gave you a few examples there, and then tailor the learner guide to provide scaffolded activities to keep those more advanced users, advanced students, engaged while you're spending time with the novices. I hope that's of use to you if that was your question. And if you didn't ask that question, maybe that was of use to you as well. Add a comment below. You'll be watching this on YouTube. We'll see you in the next video, which will be video number 3. Bye for now.